Hey guys, welcome. Today we will do something differently. Instead of listening to our regular news, today I want to use this time to review what we have learned so far. Of course, I cannot emphasize enough. Review is very important, very significant, very critical in learning the language because you have to remember and utilize in the daily life, right? So today we will review we have covered a lot, but we cannot do everything at once. So today, especially, I'm gonna review something related to the COVID-19 and vaccines. Okay? 자, 오늘은요, COVID-19 백신, 코로나 바이러스에 관련된 어휘와 표현들을 정리하는 시간, 리뷰 복습하는 시간을 가질 거고요. So what I want you to do, I'm going to remind you of the vocabulary that we have learned. 제가 이 단어를 상기시켜드리면 여러분도 동시에 I want you to come up with a sentence, 같이 문장을 만드시면서 복습을 해가시면 굉장히 effective 할 것 같습니다. At the same time, okay, if I'm speaking too fast, 제가 마음이 급해서 막 빨리빨리 넘어가면요. 여러분이 pause 하시고 다시 문장을 생각해 보시고 turn it back on, 다시 이렇게 틀어주시면 될 것 같습니다. Okay, so let's get started, right? The first one, 자, 바이러스에 감염되다. 저희가 많이 쓰는 표현이 contract the virus. 그쵸? infect는 아시죠? infect with a virus, but we usually say contract the virus, right? So, one of the family members has gotten the virus, right? Has contracted the virus, so I have to go into quarantine. 또는 I have to quarantine now. 그쵸? One of my family member has contracted the virus, so I have to quarantine now. 자, number 2. 자, 고위험군입니다. high risk. 자, 기저질환은요, underlying condition, pre-existing condition, comorbidity. 자, 두 가지 병을 함께 가지고 있다 해서 comorbidity. 이렇게 말하죠. Okay. For example, people 65 and older are at a high risk getting severely sick. Right? People 65 and older are at a high risk severely getting sick from the COVID-19. From what's been known now, right? 지금 알려진 바로는요. The coronavirus patient, right, or people with the COVID-19 disease who has a comorbidity, right? Who have a comorbidity such as 고혈압이요, hypertension, 비만이요, obesity, right? 당뇨병이요, diabetes, right? At high risk of getting sick or high risk of getting sick, right? COVID-19 이렇게 하시면 되겠네요. One more time. For what's known at the moment, patients with COVID-19 disease who have comorbidities such as hypertension, obesity, and diabetes are at a high risk of the COVID-19. Number 3, exposure. They trace everybody who is likely to expose to the positive case. They trace everyone who is likely to expose to a positive case. As an essential worker, I am facing a constant exposure to the COVID-19. As an essential worker, I face constant exposure to the COVID-19. Number 4, mitigation. 자, 완화하는 거죠. So government asks people to stay home to mitigate the virus from spreading, right? Mitigate the virus from spreading. Okay, number 2, the one of the mitigation measure. 자, measure. 여기서 수치를 재는 게 아니고 수단, 조치로 쓰이죠, 여러분. 그래서 one of the measure, right? One of the mitigation measure is to wear the mask indoors. One of the mitigation measures is to put on the masks indoor. Number 5, get it under control. 자, 통제하다는 표현으로 저희가 잘 쓰는 게 contain the virus라고 했죠. 그래서 we should comply with mitigation measure to contain the virus from spreading. Everyone should comply with a mitigation measure to contain the spread of virus. Hundreds of fire workers try to contain the fire. 그쵸? 진압하고 통제하는 겁니다. 그래서 바이러스뿐만 아니고 모든 상황들을 통제하다 할 때 우리 contain이라는 동사를 씁니다. Number 6, approver. 자, 승인하다, 인정하다. approve가 동사고요. approver, 명사가 되겠죠. The Pfizer vaccine has officially been approved. The Pfizer vaccine has officially been approved. 승인되었습니다. The FDA has given the full approval to the Pfizer vaccine. The FDA has given the full approval to the Pfizer vaccine. Number 7, emergency use authorization. 자, 긴급 사용 허가입니다. 그래서 temporary authorization과 마찬가지겠죠. So for kids aged 5 to 11, the vaccines are being used under emergency use authorization. The vaccines are being used under emergency use authorization. Number 8, pending on hold. That means undecided, unsettled. 자, 결정된 게 없이 보류 중이라는 표현이죠. 자, 예를 들어서요. The FDA has announced that they're going to offer the booster shot to the adults, right? Fully vaccinated adults from next month, right? 자, next month부터 부스터 샷을 줄 거라고 has announced, 발표를 했는데 but this is the pending review by the FDA. This is the pending review by the FDA. 자, 이렇게 하시면 되겠네요. Okay, number 9, decrease, diminish, declined. For example, the vaccines are 92% effective against the new infection of the COVID, right? But after 6 months, the efficacy, 효력이요, has declined to 80%. The efficacy has declined to 80%. 자, 80%로 declined, 줄어들고 있습니다. Also, when it comes to decline, it has a two meaning, right? Refuse, 거절되다. Denied, 거절되다라는 표현입니다. So your card has been declined. Your card has been declined. 자, 이런 크레딧 카드 쓰실 때 하는 표현이라고 했죠. Number 10, wear off, wane, fade, diminish. 자, 사라지고 감퇴하는 겁니다. 그래서 저희가 why do you get a booster shot? 자, booster shot을 받는 이유가 이런 efficacy, 효력, effectiveness가 줄어들기 때문이죠. For example, after 6 months, the vaccine efficacy has wearing off. 또는 is wearing off, right? is wearing off or is waning. 이런 식으로 하시면 됩니다. The vaccine efficacy is waning, wearing off after 6 months. Next one, 11. Devaluate, devalue. 자, 똑같은 표현입니다. 가치가 감소하거나 또는 쇠퇴하는 걸 말하죠. 자, despite or regardless of the vaccine devaluation. Regardless of, 뭐뭐에 상관없이 vaccine devaluation or the vaccines still remain effective. Or the vaccines still remain effective. Have remained 남아있습니다. effective라는 표현이죠. 자, 요즘 inflation 아시죠? inflation이 자, 상승하면서 as the inflation arose 상승하면서 the US dollar devaluated. 그렇죠? 감소했죠. The US dollar devaluated as inflation arose. eligible. 자, 어디에 자격이 있는 이란 표현이죠. So booster shot, people are eligible for a booster shot, right? People are eligible for the booster shot 8 months after they got the second shot. 그쵸? People will be eligible for the booster shot 8 months after they receive their second shot. Number 13, ramp up. 증가시키답니다. ramp up. 제가 너무 많이 잘 쓰는 표현이기 때문에 여러분 알아주시고요. ramping up, ramp up. The government is ramping up the COVID-19 home test. The government is ramping up the COVID-19 home testing. Number 14, rigorous, thorough, strict, meticulous. For example, this vaccine went through the rigorous scientific review. This vaccine went through rigorous scientific review. Number 15, disrupt. Disrupt. COVID-19 disruption. COVID-19 disruption. The weather, right? Weather disrupted our travel plan. The weather disrupted our travel plan. COVID-19 has caused a disruption to the everyday life. COVID-19 has caused a disruption to everyday life. Number 16, the vaccine mandate. Vaccine mandate. Make mandatory, compulsory. Joe Biden mandated the vaccine for business more than 100 people, right? Or 100 employees. Joe Biden has mandated a COVID-19 vaccine for those business with more than 100 employees. Number 17, roll out. Roll out. Launch, introduce, start. COVID vaccine was rolled out 2021 December, sorry. COVID vaccine was rolled out in December 2021. The California governor has said, right, that this mandate will be implemented in 2 phases, right? The vaccine mandate will be rolled out in 2 phases. The vaccine mandate will be rolled out in 2 phases in California school. Number 18, consistent, sustainable. Consistent, 일정하고, 자, 우리 이렇게 꾸준한 거죠. 그 다음에 sustainable, 지속 가능한. 그래서 consistency, 일관성. 또는 명사로는요, density, 농도라는 표현이 있었습니다. We have to implement something consistent and sustainable. We have to implement, 실행해야 되죠. something consistent, 일관적이고, 그 다음에 sustainable, 지속한. Your conduct is not consistent with what you say. 자, 너의 conduct, 행동이요, is not consistent with, 일치하지 않습니다. What you say, 네가 말하는 것과. The English study has to be consistent, right? English study has to be consistent. Mix the flour and liquid in the right consistency. Mix the flour and liquid in the right consistency. 여기서는 농도라는 거죠. 저 울퉁불퉁하면 안 되고 꾸준하게 잘, 그렇죠? 농도로 섞어라라는 표현입니다. Number 19, reluctant, hesitant, reluctantly. I am hesitant to get vaccinated. I don't think it's proven safe. I'm hesitant to get vaccinated. I don't think it's proven safe. He reluctantly got his shot. Number 20, admit. 자, number 1, 입장 허용이라는 표현이 있었고요. Number 2, 인정하다. 그죠? 사실, 잘못을 시인하다, 인정하다 라는 표현이 있었습니다. 자, for example, the promising pill the Merck has developed can reduce the being admitted to the hospital in half. Being admitted to the hospital in half, right? 자, 입원율을 반이나 줄여듭니다. The promising 하면 우리 전망 있는 이라고 했죠. The promising pill the Merck has developed could cut the chance of being admitted to the hospital in half. 또는 자, 인정한 겁니다. The White House has admitted that inflation is worrisome and a big deal. The White House has admitted that inflation is a worrisome and big deal. Number 21, brace for, get ready, brace for. The New York City is bracing for the shortage of the policemen, police officer, and firefighters. The New York City is bracing for the possible shortage of police officer and firefighters. You better brace yourself for the bad news. You better brace yourself for the bad news. Number 12, illegal, unlawful, illegitimate. Illegal, right? Unlawful, illegitimate. Legit, 합법적인. Illegitimate, 불합법적인. Ethical, unethical. Unethical, 비도덕적인. Constitutional, unconstitutional. Unconstitutional. The vaccine mandate is illegal or unlawful, unethical, illegitimate, and unconstitutional. The vaccine mandate is unlawful, unethical, illegitimate, unconstitutional. Number 23, sue, take a legal action. Sue, take a legal action, or head it to the court. 자, 명사로는요, suit and litigation. Litigation and suit. 27 states are taking a legal action against the vaccine mandate. 27 states are taking legal action against the vaccine mandate. The company wished to avoid the litigation. The company wishes to avoid the litigation. Number 24, double down. 자, 실수고 잘못한 줄도 알지만 계속 자기네 입장을 고수하는 것. 그쵸? 내가 한 번 말한 거를 고집 피우는 거를 double down 이라고 했습니다. So today the mayor has doubled down. Today the mayor has or doubled down. Instead of learning his mistake, he's doubling down. Instead of learning his mistake, he's doubling down. Double down. Number 5, contingency plan. 자, 비상 계획입니다. 하지만 여러분이 contingent upon 라는 형용사를 쓰시면 뭐뭐에 따라 다르다, 상황에 따라 다르다 라는 표현으로 contingent upon 이라는 표현을 씁니다. The higher decision, right? Offer, job offer라고 하면 되겠죠? Job offer is contingent upon the review of the background, right? They usually check your background, so clean background review라고 하시면 되겠네요. The job offer was contingent upon the return of the clean background review. The loan ability, 그쵸? 대출 받아야 돼요. Getting the loan, right? Loan ability is contingent upon your credit history. Your ability to get a loan is contingent upon your credit history. The mayor said he has a contingency plan in place. The mayor says he has a contingency plan in place. The army is getting ready or preparing the contingency plan in case the firefighters walk out. The army is already preparing the contingency plan if the firefighters walk out. Number 6, one size fits all. 자, 일정한 규칙이 모두에게 적용된다. That's the vaccine these days, right? The vaccine fits, the one vaccine, right? One size fits all. So for example, there is no one size fits all in managing your money. There is no one size fits all approach to managing your money. Number 27, run out of patience. Run out of patience. I'm running out of patience. I'm running out of patience. My patience is wearing thin. My patience is wearing thin. 저희가 조 바이든 대통령이 한 유명한 표현들이었죠. Number 8, cut corners. Cut corners. 자, 하나의 이디엄입니다, 여러분. 비용과 시간을 줄이기 위해서 대충대충 하다. Cut corners. So intensive review has proven that the agency didn't cut any corners. The intensive review proved that the agency didn't cut any corners. 서둘리지 마세요. Take your time, right? Don't cut corners. Take your time. Don't cut corners. 이렇게 하시면 됩니다. 대충대충 하지 말고 제대로 해주세요. Don't cut corners. Take your time. Number 29, on the fence. On the fence. Undecided, unsettled. 자, 결정하지 못하고 두 가지 사이에서 아직 on the fence, 울타리 위에 지금 앉아있는 상태예요. 이쪽도 아니고 저쪽도 아니고 아직 못 간 상태죠. Some people are on the fence, try to decide whether they get vaccinated or not. Some people are still on the fence, trying to decide whether to get vaccinated. Number 30, down the road. Down the road. 자, going forward, 미래에, 향후에 라는 표현입니다. So the decision you are making now will impact down the road. The decision you are making now will impact down the road. Oh, sorry, that's wrong. Down the road, 이렇게 씁니다. Impact you down the road, okay? That's for today's lesson. I hope it'll be helpful to you. And remember, I'm gonna keep you listening. I made a listening file for you to practice. So please practice, okay? And I will see you next time. Bye, guys. Listen and repeat, practice.
One of my family members has contracted the virus. I have to quarantine now. People 65 and older are at high risk of getting severely sick from COVID-19. From what is known at the moment, patients with COVID-19 disease who have comorbidities such as hypertension, obesity, and diabetes are at high risk of COVID-19. They trace everyone who is likely exposed to a positive case. As an essential worker, I face constant exposure to COVID-19. The government asks people to stay home to mitigate the virus from spreading. One of the mitigation measures is to put on masks indoors. Everyone should comply with the mitigation measures to contain the spread of the virus. Hundreds of fire crews try to contain a fire. The Pfizer vaccine has officially been approved. The FDA has given a full approval to the Pfizer vaccine. For ages 5 through 11, vaccines are being used under emergency use authorization. The FDA has announced a plan to offer booster shots to fully vaccinated adults beginning next month, though this is pending a review by the FDA. Vaccines are about 92% effective against new COVID infections, but after 6 months, efficacy declines to about 80%. Your card has been declined. Vaccine efficacy is waning, wearing off after 6 months. Regardless of the vaccine devaluation, all vaccines have remained effective. The US dollars devalued as inflation arose. People will be eligible for the booster shot 8 months after they receive their second shot. The government is ramping up the COVID-19 home testing. Vaccines went through rigorous review. The weather disrupted our travel plans. COVID-19 has caused disruption to everyday life. Joe Biden has mandated the COVID-19 vaccine for those businesses with more than 100 employees. The corona vaccine has been rolled out in December of 2021. The governor says the mandate will be rolled out in 2 phases in California schools. We have to implement something consistent and sustainable. Your conduct is not consistent with what you say. English study has to be consistent. Mix flour and liquid to the right consistency. I am hesitant to get vaccinated. I don't think it's been proven safe. He reluctantly got his shot. The promising pill Merck has developed could cut the chance of being admitted to the hospital in half. The White House has admitted that inflation is a worrisome and big deal. New York City is bracing for a possible shortage of police officers and firefighters. You had better brace yourself for some bad news. The vaccine mandate is unlawful, unethical, illegitimate, and unconstitutional. 27 states are taking legal action against the vaccine mandate. The company wishes to avoid litigation. Today, the mayor doubled down. Instead of learning from his mistakes, he's doubling down. Job offer was contingent upon the return of a clean background review. Your ability to get a loan is contingent upon your credit history. The mayor says he has a contingency plan in place. The Army is already preparing contingency plans if the firefighters walk out. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to managing your money. I am running out of patience. My patience is wearing thin. The intensive review proves the agency didn't cut any corners. Take your time. Don't cut corners. Some people are still on the fence, trying to decide whether to get vaccinated. The decision you're making now will impact down the road.